Well, hello. Is that showing my shadow? Let's see here. I can't tell if this is doing the right thing or not. So let's see what can happen here. I'm seeing a band of light going across the top of my screen on my phone. I've never seen that before, but I'm hoping that it is not showing. I'll sit back so you can see me better. Good night, good night, good night. Welcome to Midlife Priceless. And I am here to do another installation of the Midnight Oil. Please excuse me for not remembering to look right here because that is where the camera is looking at me, and I need to remember that always. So, Midnight Oil is me and my parting thoughts for the day. I don't have anything important to say all the time, but interesting. Let's say interesting. I hope this is going to be helpful for you. I jotted down a list of things, in fact, 12 things that I would suggest to anyone who has a business, is thinking about having a business, um, especially for entrepreneurs. But this also is true for any size company, from as big as AT&T to a little mom and pop shop or an online business. Um, these are 12 key points that I always talk to my customers about. And if you don't know, I am a graphic designer by trade. I design websites, instructional design, meaning those online courses that you take sometimes. It's me behind some of them. Um, I also am an e-commerce fanatic. I love designing clothes and things. In fact, I'll show you. I think on another video, I pointed out a shirt that I was wearing that I designed, and I also have the tote bag to go with it and everything. It's an athletic bag. Um, I write. I love making videos, as you know. Um, what else do I do? I think that's the crux of it. Public relations, sales, and marketing. But boom. That's my whole ball of yarn. Now, what I'm doing tonight is sharing with you one of the threads in my ball of yarn. And this thread is called 12 Things You Must Know and Think About if you intend to sell anything, whether you're selling a service or a product. And if you ever thought about starting your own business, even if it's to sell a book, you need to think about some of the things I'll be talking about. So get a pen handy. Tap the like button when you come in. Welcome in. I can't see who that is, but I see there's somebody in here with me. And give some thought to some of the things I'll be talking about. So here's the thing about me. Sometimes it's just a stream of consciousness, and I don't always have things in the exact order they should probably be in when I'm doing things like this. So I would say just hear my 12 points and work with it. You can reorder them any way you want. Is that fair? I hope so. Okay. All right. So if you're just joining, let me start again. This is Miss Margaret. Welcome to Midlife Priceless. This is my channel. I'm a baby boomer, and I like to talk about things that I've learned in my lifetime through the years. I don't have a catchphrase or anything clever to say to condense the purpose of this channel. I'm working on it, I know. I just take me as I am. That's all I can tell you. But I did not want to over formalize the channel. I wanted it to be fun. I wanted it to feel like a phone call from me in the morning or at night before you go to bed. Or even if you're driving, sometimes it's good to listen and think about things a little bit. So, Midnight Oil, let us begin. First thing, when you have a business, know that philanthropy never fails. It is your reputation at work. It is a statement about your values. And we'll talk about branding, so don't get off on that too quickly in your mind, but just think about what can you do for others and you're looking for nothing in return. You're not selling anything, you're not buying anything. You want to give something, you want to donate. Philanthropy in my line of work has never been the work itself. I don't give a website as a gift. That's not philanthropy unless we're talking about a nonprofit that desperately needs the work. Typically, a nonprofit will have the funding already baked in to develop things like a website and all the collateral and assets that they need. If they are not already existing when you show up. At this point, everybody has a website. Philanthropy for me has always been people who cannot afford but need my services. And when I say need, here's an example. In my hometown, there was a young lady whose toddler died. He got sick, something respiratory or other. And to me, the loss of a child takes things completely out of any concern for money. I have said to people and I have provided funeral program services for children at no charge. In fact, I insist that there will be no charge for that. An adult is different, but when you lose a child, there is no preparing for. There is usually not a lot of insurance attached to that life to help you through the tough times. I just feel that the least I can do to ease their suffering is to provide something beautiful to commemorate the child. So I don't charge for that at all. Never have, never will. Um, Philanthropy. Pick something that you love. Pick something that touches your heart and let that be your philanthropic commitment for your business. It is and isn't part of branding because branding to me has to do with the personality and the value system that your business is promoting. Um, you can be philanthropic with the environment, of course, but I want to separate them out for the purposes that I mentioned a minute ago. Um, there are people in this world who simply cannot afford to have something nice. They can have something, but something decent, something that makes them feel proud or makes them understand that uh, there are people in the world who do care and will help. And I want to be that person in their time of need. Uh, Number two, when you are selling something, you have to sell the way people are willing to buy, not the way you prefer to sell. So I've always been of the thought and opinion that you can create a sales process all you like. And I'm a fan of customer relationship management software like Salesforce and so on. All the automated stuff, that's fine. It's necessary. It's the way to go, as they say, but there's a funnel, a sales funnel. And the problem that I perceive is that it is too regimented. It expects that the person will buy according to the way you want to sell, as opposed to you selling the way the person wants to buy. I love shoes. When I go to buy shoes, I build my outfit from the shoes up, sometimes from the garment down. But it just depends on my mood, whether or not I already have something in my closet. So if I go into a shoe store, it's not about just finding beautiful shoes. I have something in mind. I cannot, I promise you, the salesperson can't sell me a pair of shoes that I really don't want. or um, is out of my order. I have an order in my head about the way I want to buy something. People say when you go to the grocery store, never go hungry, and to have a shopping list so you don't buy things you don't need. Well, I can't do that. I have to go to the meat section first and pick out my protein, depending on what they have, how it looks, what gets my appetite going, what makes my mouth water. And then I go get my vegetables and this and that and that and that. That's the way I buy. So, when you're talking about a product or a service, it's an investment for your customer, and they want to buy the way they want to buy, not the way you want to sell it to them. So, be flexible with that and don't try to force a customer to buy the way you want to sell. And then you're disappointed. Oh, I'm going to overcome the objections. No, you're not. You're going to get on their nerves, is what you're going to do, and then you won't make the sale at all. So that is advice number 2. Number 3, for sales and marketing as an entrepreneur or a person who is charged with selling a product or a service, is understand your brand. And a brand is not a logo. A logo is a logo. Your brand is what your value system is, what you're about. What do you represent? You're a company that does what? You want to help people, or you want to sell stuff? If you say you want to sell stuff, I guarantee you won't sell a thing. You want to help people. That's what you really want to do. So I said number 3, but I should have said number 4, solving problems. That's what you're there to do. Recognize what the need is and do some needs assessment or need assessment for your customer and figure out how to help them do something easier, faster, or cheaper. That's basically your job. And I want to circle back and go back to, excuse me, branding and logo. If you don't have a logo for your business, do me a favor and stop making it so complicated. Look at all the big brand names and what you recognize. For Walmart, it's that little sunshiny thing. For Target, it is a Target. It's just one color and that's about it. My advice to people is to always, when I wear my graphic designer hat, pick a logo that fits on the side of a pen or a pencil and also looks great on a billboard. Anything in between, you're safe. But if your logo is so complicated and has so many colors that it cannot be perceived on the side of a pencil or a pen, then it's too complicated. You've got to make it simple. And you can embellish it for Christmas time. You can use other icons or avatars to bump it up season on season, but your baseline logo should look great on the side of a pencil and on a billboard. And if we go a little further, if you fax it to yourself and it looks a mess, it's a mess. Trust what I'm telling you. I've been designing for 30 some odd years. I've seen it happen 1,000 times. And understand that every time you add a color, you're adding the cost. You're adding to the cost. So those are the first 4. So I'll stop now and ask you to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Midlife Priceless. This is Midnight Oil. My parting thoughts for the day and something that may help you tomorrow. So I'm on number 5. Be likable. Nobody buys from people they don't like. Even if it's a good service or a good product, they'll leave you and come back and talk to your coworker and get it done that way. They don't need you, right? But you want the sale. So be likable. And know that you may not be likable to a customer, not because of how you are, but who they are. I know instantly if I can talk to this person or not. If I'm dealing with a person who's ornery, a person who has a wall up, when I say, "Hi, how are you?" and I get a grunt, we're done. Because now you, the customer, are being so obtuse and so negative, whatever message I came to give you, you'll never hear anyway. So if I'm not likable, I have to move on to the next person who is more open and accepting of me as the messenger. All right. Number 6. Ooh wee. This is always a hard one for my customers. You have to pick 2 of the following 3: fast, cheap, creative. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot have all 3 at one time. If it's fast and cheap, it won't be very creative. If it's fast and creative, it is going to be expensive. Fast, creative, and cheap. I'll repeat that for you. I hope you're writing this stuff down. Fast, creative, and cheap. You cannot have all 3 at one time. Trust what I'm telling you. Now, if you want cheap and creative, it won't be fast. Here's a great example. I designed fans, hand fans to cool you down. I designed them. They were creative and they were cheap because I could get quantity and price breaks in the quantity, I should say. But they were coming in from China, which means I would not get them fast. It took 2 months to get them. So here again, fast, creative, and cheap. You can only get 2 out of the 3 at a time. All right. Number 7, lucky number 7. Never stop learning and always seek emerging markets and industries. It will save you every time because what you're doing is you're forecasting what's coming up and some of the technologies and things that may help you do what you're doing better, give you the competitive edge, and differentiate you from the competition. So you always want to pay attention to what's coming, what's around the curve. Watch things like the technology news, or like AI came out of, we think AI just showed up in a minute. It didn't. AI has been out there and it's been approaching us and coming to us little by little, bit by bit. It's just you hear more about it now. But if you were paying attention to technology news, you would have known this was coming a long time ago. Its final iteration and the product that we see today, chat GBT or whatever it is, we may not have known that, but we would know it. Number 8. This one is a thorn in my side and of many others who don't listen to me. When you purchase services such as mine, if you were to hire me to do some graphic design for you, and let's say I'm going to build a website for you, most people will say, well, just do it. Just do it. I don't want to have anything to do with it. I'll pay you. Pay me for the service. Don't pay for the actual site. What does that mean, Margaret? It means, for example, in order to register and park your website on a server, meaning give you a website, it costs money. If I use my credit card to pay to register your site, I own the site. You don't own anything. If you're not sure about that, call the service provider. Tell them you want to do something with your website, whatever it may be. And see the next question they ask you. Your name, please. You give them your name. And the name of your site, you give them the name of your site. And may I have the credit card number that you used to pay for this website? If you can't answer that question, you don't own the website. Okay? Word of warning. Number 9. Go to conferences. Sometimes they have free tickets. You can just go, walk around, learn something new, meet new people. Let them know what you do. Keep your card in your pocket, or if you have a digital card, keep your phone handy and charged up. Go. You'd be surprised at the people you meet. I mean, shocked. I went to an energy conference, and they had, oh my goodness, they have a ship being built in, I want to say, Korea. It is a sail ship, but the sails are made out of plexiglass. I'm telling you, my mouth fell open. And the video, I videotaped the presentation. I'll have to put it on the channel. It is awesome. But I went there and I met and learned about so many things. Like I was talking about the emerging markets. That's when you find out about this stuff. Talking to the actual people who do the work is priceless. My 10th suggestion for sales and marketing people, professionals, entrepreneurs, anyone who wants to sell a good or service is succession planning. Succession planning allows your business to grow. It's a mistake that I made. I didn't want to give away or to delegate tasks and responsibilities. And it kept my business from growing. And I suffer with it today. The problem for most of us is nobody's going to do it like I'm going to do it. They don't have the investment, they don't care like I care. Well, the cost of doing business is all I can put that to. The issue is to find the person, or the challenge, I should say, is to find the person who's going to give you good bang, not excellent bang, your excellent bang. Give the best bang for your buck that you can possibly get for the money you're paying. And understand you get what you pay for. All right. So if you're not willing to share in the spoils, you're not going to grow. You're just not. Because here's what's happening: the time and effort it takes for you to sell something, do the work, bill for it, chase your money, especially if you got a customer that doesn't pay very quickly, and stay ahead of the learning curve in your industry, you're exhausted. It's better to me to delegate some of these things. Start with the accounting function, or start with the design function. I think back now, and I could have parceled out so many functions that I did on my own and grown the business exponentially. I should be retiring on some fat money right about now. But no, nobody's going to do it like Margaret. What a mistake. What a mistake that was. Not to mention it affects your health because you're so stressed out you end up in the hospital. Um, your succession plan should also satisfy the question of what happens when you can't. Maybe you're sick, maybe you want to go on vacation. So if Rich Dad Poor Dad talked about that. If the only time you make money is when you're working, you don't have a business, you don't own a business, you have a job. That's what that means. All right, moving on. Number 11. If you are a person, an entrepreneur, a business, and you have decided that you're going to be on every social media channel, which you should not, by the way, um, you need to put those channels on your org chart, on your organizational chart. If Facebook does not have a specific job and purpose and function, you have no business on Facebook. Same thing with Twitter, X. Same thing with LinkedIn. Same thing with YouTube. If it's not part of, or part and parcel to the total plan, you are wasting your time, you are wasting your money, you are frustrating people, and for goodness sake, don't put the same thing on every channel. It's a different audience with a different purpose. So make sure you understand what that channel is for and what kind of audience it is and what it drives and what it does. What are the demographics? the product or service you're selling. There's no point in getting on TikTok, I guess, just to randomly name something with such a young viewing audience to talk about gray hair. Are you serious? Make those social media and other channels do their job, or get rid of them. Finally, number 12. Number 12, number 12, number 12. I would say number 12 really sums up and is a roll up of all the things. Don't only call your customers when you want to sell them something. Be in touch with your customers consistently and constantly to help them. As an example, there are some customers, or potential customers, I would say, as well. They hear from me on a regular basis, but it's usually about something that I think will help them. I saw an article, I thought about you, here's the link. Keep it moving. That's all. You're trying to help them. Don't just let it be, hey, we're running a special. Don't let that be the only time they hear from you. Let it be after you've sent them a few articles and shown some concern or care for what their objectives are, their business goals. Be an asset and not a hanger on. Stop riding in the wagon and help push the thing. Does that make sense? If it makes sense, hit the like button. All right. So I have given you 12 tried and true strategies, approaches, wins for running a sales and marketing plan for yourself, for your business, for your channel, for your life, whatever it is that you're doing. And I hope that helps. I hope that helps. So that's it for now. Good talking to you all again tonight. The midnight oil is now concluded, and I am going to bed. Night. See you next time.